First up, we have my Hamilton Khaki Aviation. I got this watch about 2.5 years ago. I couldn't really afford it at the time, but it was listed as 4 parts of repair, and I got it for $40. It was a quick $20 fix at the watch repair shop, and so I have a fully functioning Hamilton for about $60. It's been running great ever since then, and I absolutely love the watch. It's pretty much perfect for me. It has a 38mm case diameter, 45.5mm lug to lug, and a 10.5mm case height. So it fits perfectly on my 7.25 inch wrist, and I absolutely love this watch. Next up, we have the Seiko SRPC01, also known as the Seiko Starlight. Absolutely love this watch, but I have kind of fallen out of love for it recently. I have 3 major gripes. One, I don't really care for the Rolex crystal. I paid $700 for this watch. It should have something a little bit more substantial. Give me a sapphire. Other than that, the 4R35 movement isn't really anything spectacular, especially for this price range. I would hope for something a little bit better, but it's not too big a deal for me. And then the third thing is the indices. Those indices are really big and obtrusive, and they just get in the way and kind of like muck up the dial for me. I don't really care for it. But yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with this watch. Still in my collection 2 years later, so I can't hate it that much, but if a watch were to leave my collection after this video, this would probably be the one. Next up is a vintage Seiko that I got off of eBay. When I first started collecting, I was really into Seiko watches. I still am, but I purchased a ton of them in a row. This was one of them. I thought it was a really cool looking dial. It had a sunburst effect, and it was like split down the middle, so you got the sunburst on either side. And it just was unique and different from anything I had seen, so I figured I'd give it a try. The dimensions are really great on this one as well. It has a 37mm case diameter, 10.7mm case height, and a 43.1 lug to lug with the integrated bracelet. Next up is a Seiko, another vintage Seiko, Lord Matic. It has this linen pattern dial. I think this was made in the 80s. Out of all my watches, this is probably the one that's going to break first, but I absolutely love this watch. I got it to replace my first watch that I used to wear all the time, a gold Seiko Kinetic that used to be my grandfather's. I don't wear it anymore, but it really got me liking gold tone watches, so I wanted something to replace it, and this is the one I chose. Next up is my first Seiko 5 purchase. I did a video on this watch. It's got a Hobnail pattern dial. Originally I wanted the black dial version. I searched for it online for about 6 months straight, couldn't find anything. I saw a couple of these online and figured I'd pick it up, see if I liked the size, the dial up close in person, and maybe I'd pick up the black one down the road. But I ended up falling in love with this watch, and I've worn it as much as any watch in my collection since then, and now I have no interest in the black dial one. I already have the Hamilton, and I'm not really a black dial kind of guy. Next up was my Seiko 5 Actus, whatever you call it. As you can see, it has some damage on the dial. It was like water damage or some sort of aging to the dial. I got this basically to see if I could like a watch like that. I typically like a very clean and maintained dial. Like, I want to look at the dial and it to be something that I enjoy. But after having this watch for about a month, I got over the imperfections of the dial and I learned to actually like it. So when my watches get older, I have no concerns that I'll still love the watch. Next up is the S&K 805. Needs no introduction. I got this watch basically because everyone was ranting and raving about it, saying how wonderful the watch is. I can see why everyone's in love with it, but personally, it doesn't speak to me in that way. I don't really care for it. I tried to force myself to like this watch. I wore it for like a month straight, and every time I wore it, I just kept asking myself, why am I wearing this instead of one of the other watches that I actually like? And so after that, I just stopped wearing it, and I'll probably just keep it and give it to one of my kids when they get older. Enough Seiko for now. Next up is my Alpina Seastrong Diver 300. This is my second most expensive watch. I got this for $590 used. Had it for about 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. I like the red bezel, and just how unique the dial design is, how it has the stick indices with the polished outer portion of them, and it's just different from a lot of the other divers that I had seen, and kind of made me want to pick it up. Yeah, it has a cool case design. I don't know, that's different as well. It's a little bit larger. I think the diameter for this one's about, I think I measured it at 47.5, something like that. But I got pretty good size 7.5-inch wrists, and with the lug to lug being only 49.5, it's not really an issue for me. It fits perfectly fine on my wrist. My only issue with this watch is it has a blue AR coating on the outside. It's got a couple scratches in it. I don't like that, but what can you do? All right, next is my Nixon. This is the C39, nicknamed Refreshing. I don't know, they put nicknames on all their watches. C39 meaning a 39 millimeter diameter watch. I really like the green sunburst on this dial. I like the orange second hand on the sub-second register. And I just think it's a really well-balanced watch, even if it's from a brand like Nixon that typically doesn't do watches that I like. It has the applied indices, domed mineral crystal, very, very slightly domed, but I like that. Those little details are here in this watch. I think it's done well enough for the price that it was, and I'll probably keep this one for a long time. Next up is my Shinola Bedrock. This is a 32 millimeter. This is a 42 millimeter dress style watch. I picked it up basically because everyone was hating on Shinola, and I found this at a really good price. I wanted to pick it up, see if it was as bad as everyone was saying it was, or if it was just way too overpriced for what it offers. And it seems to be the second of the two. It is a really good quality watch. The leather is premium. The case feels very solid. Has a nice domed sapphire crystal. And so it's executed really well, just not for the price they were trying to charge. I got a really good price on it, so I think I'll be keeping it in my collection. Don't wear it super often, but it'll be there when I need it. Second to last watch is my Casio, I think it's A168 WA-1. Probably the only Casio I'll ever own. I'm not a big Casio guy, don't really care for the G-Shock. I like the little calculator watches, any of them with the world time functions or anything like that. But I really love this watch. I wore it all the time for about 3 or 4 months straight. Still wear it occasionally. It's just a really fun, casual watch. If I ever do get another Casio, I'll probably retire this one. I can't see myself ever having multiple Casios in my collection, but I'll probably keep this one forever. And finally, my most recent purchase, this two-tone Seiko that I got off of eBay. Has a nice stainless steel outer case, a champagne gold dial. It looks really cool. Reminds me of like an older Datejust reference 16001. That's a watch I really want to get, but this is uniquely its own watch. It doesn't mirror it close enough to where I feel like this is like filling the void of that other watch, and that really doesn't work for me anyways. I can't just buy a watch that is similar to one I really want and have it kind of hold me over till I get that watch. No, it's either all or nothing for me. And even if I did get that Datejust 1601, I'd probably still keep this in my collection. I just think it looks really cool and has a nice unique style that I don't see a lot out in the wild. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me and taking a look at my collection. If you have any questions on any of these watches, please leave it in the comments below. If you like the video, please drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one.